Come with me if you want to live.
Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Zip, don't get scared.
Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome to a brand new episode of Flick Crazy, a weekly podcast all about movies and more. And tonight, we got some good stuff to talk about. At some points, it's going to get a little bit dark, a little bit creepy, a little bit magical, and a little bit mystical. But some of the topics we're going to cover tonight is the brand new movie coming out this week, Morgan. We're going to talk about the trailer for that. Looks like Splice, if you ask me. We're going to talk about the Deathstroke footage that Ben Affleck released, or as I like to call him, Ben the bodybuilder buff Ben Affleck badass Batman. A lot of B's. We're going to talk about Stranger Things 2, the second season coming out very soon, and the teaser trailer for it. And then we're going to talk about some random movies we watched this week. And then my personal favorite part of the podcast, where we dive into viewer Q&A questions at the very end. So my name's John, or you call me John Flickster, or call me whatever you want to, as long as you don't call me late for dinner. And I'm here with my co-host, the Crazy Jason.
Or Jason. And first thing we got to do, it's a little bit sad, but rest in peace, Gene Wilder. The guy was a genius. I enjoyed all of his movies. I'd say my favorite would probably be Young Frankenstein or Blazing Saddles.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fun. And plus, he had all those collaborations with
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Pryor, man. They made the 80s. I agree. It's a sad thing. He was getting up there in age. He had some medical issues, but I love Gene Wilder. And I would say my personal favorite of Gene Wilder, it's the weird, it's the creepy, it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, that movie goes beyond childhood films into something dark and weird and menacing if you really break it down. And I've always wanted an Oompa Loompa. Always.
I could see you inheriting the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
It would be really psychotic.
It would.
I don't think any of the kids would make it out if you were running it.
No, they would have all drowned in that chocolate river. I'll tell you that right now.
Just one thing, you wouldn't have had some interest in doing some.
The snozberries would still taste like snozberries, and I would definitely the juicing room would be used quite often. We'll just leave it there.
Okay.
All right.
That's.
All right. Told you it was going to get dark, and that wasn't even part of the darkness yet.
No, the darkness is coming.
It's coming. Don't get scared now. All right. So
inescapable.
It is. So anyway, rip Gene Wilder, and let's get into the lighter stuff here, though. The first thing I want to talk about is a little trailer I caught in the movie theater this week. It's a movie called Morgan.
My name. I keep waiting for you.
I didn't know I was supposed to do the Morgan Freeman on that.
Well, it occurred to me because you said it, and then
my name is Morgan Freeman. But let's just talk about the trailer, not my shitty impressions.
Let's talk about the shitty trailer instead.
Let's talk about the shitty trailer. Yeah, I some people might want to see this. For me, it looks like an exact duplicate ripoff just 6 years later after another movie called Splice. I don't think you can make a more similar movie without making a sequel.
I agree. I didn't even think of Splice initially. I just thought I've seen this movie so many times before, especially in the past 10 years.
It's a hodgepodge of 20 other movies.
Right.
Pooped into one.
Pooped into one, man. And, what it is they genetically make a girl and they keep her in a compound, and then she develops some kind of weird powers. She becomes one of the X-Men or something. And it's basically Splice, except it might be a little bit lighter, and she has powers. And it's directed by Ridley Scott's son. And it definitely has that Ridley Scott vibe. It even has the sirens playing like he did in Alien. So, well, you can't. I say never judge a book by its cover.
Sure,
it's one of my sayings.
Yeah,
that I say all the time.
All the time. I've never heard it before. Never once.
No. No, I try not to judge movies too harshly on their trailers. But because I am interested. I mean, did Ridley Scott's son inherit any of the gifts of the father?
I'm not quite
curious.
He's only directed a few smaller movies. He definitely borrowed some elements from his father, but I don't know. It just looks like a hodgepodge of random movies, and it looks like Splice from 2009. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, let's move on. There's not much to say.
It looks like a chore to watch, but all right. So the next thing I want to talk about.
Speaking of chores.
Yes.
Oh, that was just the next thing.
You love this news. You love comic book movie news. I know you do.
Oh, man, I did my research.
He did, man. I was like, look this up, find out a little bit more about Deathstroke, because he's kind of a character that's not, on the tip of everyone's tongue. It's kind of one of those comic book characters not everyone knows about, but
Deep cuts.
Deep cuts. So Ben Affleck, director of the upcoming solo Batman movie, and Batman himself, he released this little sneak peek. It looks like some test footage, if you ask me, of the character of Deathstroke, and he might possibly be the villain for the solo Batman movie, or he might just have.
You said he was definitely the villain.
Well, I think he's definitely the villain, but the big question is, do you think he's just going to have a cameo scene in Justice League? Do they set him up somehow so you kind of get a presence of him? That way they build him up, so when he does show up in the solo Batman movie, everyone's like, oh, he was in Justice League.
If he is going to be the main villain in the Batman movie, then I think he needs just a little bit more than a cameo. A cameo, but with some meaning to it. Like, why has he got beef with Batman? Mm-hmm. Just from the research I did, Deathstroke the Terminator, as he was once called.
Oh, really? Okay.
He had a military background, and he underwent surgery to enhance his abilities. So he has basically
regeneration.
He's strong. Power. He's got higher speed and reflexes, and he can use 90% of his brain.
Wow.
Which they say we only use 10% of our brains. So
I think that's just a theory that was never proven, though. I don't think so.
I like to believe that because,
I'm scared. Wouldn't you be scared if you truly only use 10% of your brain? Like that other 90%, I overthink shit as it is. I would be terrified.
We should take the Limitless pill for the next podcast and see how it works.
We could just take some Sour Patch Kids. That's my Limitless pill.
Yeah, I ate a Snickers before last week's, and you saw what happened.
Yeah, I was frightened, man. But
so Deathstroke, my only concern with this character is that this is my thought. All right.
Okay.
They did Batman v Superman.
Sure.
So Batman is going up against someone he can't even conquer. No. I mean, that's the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
And now you're going to have
you're
not having Superman anymore. Now you're going to have Deathstroke, which Superman's way up here as far as someone you would fight, and then you have Deathstroke, who's just slightly better
than Batman.
Yeah. Just a little bit better.
He's like a mix of Wolverine meets Batman meets Captain America. He's all jacked up in the super soldier serum. Here's my thing.
You mentioned that. There was actually a comic crossover where he fights Wolverine.
Oh, yeah? Who won?
Huh?
Who wins?
It was a
stalemate?
Stalemate or whatever.
Well, here's my thing. You can't just have... You got to make some Batman movies. It's either going to have to be Deathstroke, the Penguin, the Riddler, or it's going to have to be... at least Deathstroke has physicality to him. He can put up a good fight, and when it comes down to it, he's just as good as Batman. And the thing about Deathstroke, compared to Superman, Deathstroke will kill your ass. Superman, he doesn't want to kill.
Right. Well, my concern is it's not really a concern. It's more of a curiosity. Okay. What Deathstroke's beef with Batman is going to be.
What is it going to be?
I was reading, they kind of rebooted the character, and there's some different, I don't know, his origins. Yeah. But in one, the original, he's trained by his wife. I mean, his future wife, and then they have children together, and then one of his children gets kidnapped, and he goes to rescue him, but right before he kills everybody, but they slit his son's throat and kills him before he can rescue. This is very early on. I don't know if they're going for some of this early stuff, or they're going to post reboot, if they're gonna do just Arkham Knight stuff. I don't know. I'm very curious about that.
What sets him off? What is his reason for hating Batman? I don't know.
Exactly. That's the crux. That's what
I have a feeling in Justice League. They are gonna. I think they might cameo. They might have a cameo of Deathstroke in Justice League at some point, and maybe Batman's off about to do something. He's about to save the day somewhere else, and somehow that gets offset by Deathstroke intervening at some point, and then you get the nice little tease.
Do you think they're gonna do the Injustice League?
Ooh, I don't know.
And also, why wasn't Deathstroke included in Suicide Squad?
They actually, I remember a lot of people thought in Suicide Squad 2 they'd actually showcase Deathstroke, and maybe they will, But, I think Deadshot is good enough. You got Deadshot. You can't put Deathstroke in there, too.
Put those two together.
Yeah, Deathstroke would have he would have outdone the Suicide Squad. Honestly, he would have been the best one on the squad.
I guess you're right.
All right, so I think that covers Deathstroke talk. But either way, that footage, it looked like test footage to me. I don't think that's going to be an actual scene you see in the movie. But the big question is, who's going to play Deathstroke? All right.
Yes.
Now let's get on to something. I know this is your passion.
Oh, I thought we were going to ruminate on who would play Deathstroke.
I think Joe, what is his name? Joe, he was in Magic Mike 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Magnolia.
He was in True Blood.
True Blood, yeah. He looks the part. He definitely looks the part. And I've heard, you want to hear how nerdy I'm going to get here? You want to hear how nerdy I'm going to get with the speculation?
Bring it, because that's usually hurled at me.
There are internet detectives out there. They concluded that over the past few days, right before this footage was released, that actor, he started following Zack Snyder on Twitter. The actor is in London, where they're shooting the movie, and he shaved his facial hair into a goatee that's very reminiscent to the character of Deathstroke. So all the three things kind of make sense that they're probably shooting test footage with him in it.
And I guess he's just the right age, but still kind of a pretty boy.
Yeah, and you can put a little gray.
Because Deathstroke's older.
Put a little gray in that goatee.
Right.
He'll look the age. That's what they did with Ben Affleck. Added a little gray to that hair.
I wish he was a little more grizzled. Kind of like, Stephen Lang.
Oh, yeah.
I think Stephen Lang would be great.
Stephen Lang.
Maybe a little too old.
I think he'd make a better Cable, the character of Cable, than he would a Deathstroke. But, all right. Let's talk about something I know you want to talk about. And you're the one who made me watch the teaser trailer tonight.
Yeah.
And you know more about this than I do.
Hey, don't set me up like that.
Well, at least you watched the first season. I'm just the guy on the internet everyone's telling to watch the first season.
You haven't watched it yet?
I'm savoring it. I want to milk it. I want something to live for, and that's what I'm going to have.
Okay, well, when we get to movie talk, I don't want any accusations about not watching anything.
Fine. Okay, so the next topic is Stranger Things was renewed for Season 2, and we got a little teaser for it. So what are your quick thoughts on Stranger Things?
Well, that teaser was literally released 6 or 7 hours ago. Mm-hmm. I watched it right before I drove over here. And so they're flashing all these words in the teaser.
Yeah.
And you and I went online and looked up, and apparently those are just the titles of
episodes.
Which is kind of interesting. It's also interesting because why the hell did it take them so long to renew a series that was so popular? I mean, it had when the buzz, it was like two things: Suicide Squad in the theater. Stranger Things for at home. Sure. Those were the two things a few weeks ago that had all the buzz about.
Yeah, you get on the internet, you hear Stranger Things.
Have you seen it? Have you watched it? You get all these tweets. But so what took them so long to renew it? Was it just to build an anticipation factor and to have this teaser where the writers would have time to come up with a concept and come up with some at least sketches for the series?
I think they wanted to make sure they had a good plan, maybe. I'm sure the initial thoughts right away were let's do something else with this, but what do we do is the question. And you know what? You got me thinking right there when you said that. The teaser trailer. They released the titles of each episode.
Exactly.
So maybe that was the holdup. They had to script it all out. So if that's the case, then I understand.
Or at least outline it in that way. Because that teaser, I have to admit, man, was pretty awesome.
Even though it's only text and a logo, it does, and I like the 80s synthy kind of creepy music. I loved it.
So much better than just coming out and saying, Hollywood or Variety reports that it's been renewed.
I agree, and the one thing I want there's a lot of titles. I think there's 9 of them that they show, and we could say for 9 hours trying to figure out the mystery behind each one, but. We'll let other people on the internet do that for us. But what I want to talk about is
Are you trying to say we're not autistic enough for that?
I'm trying to say it's too late for that.
Okay.
But what I'm also trying to say is the first episode that they mentioned was called Mad Max, and that right there gets me excited.
Me too.
And it supposedly, I guess, it takes place in 1984, same year Thunderdome, I believe, came out.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what that means. What does Mad Max mean?
I don't know, but I like there was one. What is it? The Pumpkin Patch.
Okay.
And it's obviously going to be set at around Halloween time, 1984. That's going to be I think just the atmosphere is going to be perfect for me.
What time period of the year did the last season take place in?
I know it was in '83.
Was it spring, summer? Or was it Halloween?
Remember, it wasn't Halloween.
Okay,
though.
so Halloween.
Yeah.
That right there, that's what gives me the little tingles when I think of '80s movies. I want to see the fall. I want to see the pumpkins setting out. And,
yes.
Man,
I'm excited for it.
I think
now that I think about it, I think it's brilliant the way that they waited and then released this teaser as the announcement for season 2.
Comes out next year, right? They're releasing it next year at some point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got anything to add to the Stranger Things 2?
I think that's it, unless you want to try to delve into all those titles.
Absolutely. I don't think my brain can handle that. Yeah. The only one that stood out to me was Mad Max. There's a few other ones that might be related to movies, but the Mad Max one was pretty much the most obvious one to me. But all right. So, Crazy Jason, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Have you watched any movies this week?
I have. I have indeed.
Okay. Well, I
was multitasking.
The speculation builds.
Well, John, I mean, by the way, if you folks want to know where I got this Blu-ray that I watched,
where did you get that from?
Well, I
an outstanding citizen of society.
Head on over to the Crazy Jason channel and watch the latest movie adventure, and you'll see where I got this Blu-ray from. Was that a good plug, or was it kind of
I'll give you a hint.
shoehorned?
It's me. Anyway.
It is The Witch.
It is The Witch. I sold to you so graciously at a low price.
Not as low as... It started at $3.
It did.
Then it went to $4.
I thought
and it ended up being $5.
Was it? Well, it was $5 because... We went out late. We got some hamburgers. I was hungry, and it just worked out to be $5. Plus, I drove.
But see, here's what happened.
That was the gas money. The extra $1 was the gas money.
You charged me gas money?
Well, I didn't mean to.
That makes me less angry.
It's better than charging you interest.
It's better than just
it gives a reason.
taking my money.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me about The Witch. What'd you like? What'd you dislike?
I liked it. The thing I disliked is very nerdy or technical. I'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
It's directed by Robert Eggers. I guess this is his first feature. Actually, I was doing some reading up on him, and for those of you who are curious, those of you who like The Witch, the next movie he's making has been described as an epic medieval fantasy.
That intrigues me. The fantasy part... I just like when it's kind of straight down the path. Like, I want it to be realistic. Because medieval times alone are just creepy and weird enough. Some of the weird shit they just randomly did back then.
And the things they believed.
Yeah. And witchcraft, right up his alley. Burning witches at the stake. And
he's so very... Because he comes from... He was a production designer.
Okay.
So, everything's going to be authentic. We're talking about this medieval thing he's doing. I'm excited about that. The Witch itself, set in 1630 New England, starts out with a family of the father, the mother, and 5 kids. And they leave the colony over some religious dispute.
Sure.
Anyway, they head out into the wilderness. One of the first things that struck me was they have like a house and a barn. And I'm like, how did they build that? Yeah. How does the guy and a woman, and she's pregnant, I think, at the time.
And his
they didn't
son,
have her baby yet. And these little kids, little tiny children, how do they build this house and barn? And
yeah, they even built the barn. Like, I can understand the house, but you built a barn, which is even more spacious than your house.
I mean, even the Amish have barn raisings to help their neighbors.
Yeah, but it was just this dude. And I watch things like that sometimes, and I'm like, I can't even start a fire. I couldn't build a little boat out of popsicle sticks if you gave me 6 weeks and the help of someone else. I couldn't do it. I'm incapable.
So in other words, when the apocalypse comes, I'm not coming to your
house.
No.
Don't come to me. Don't come to me. I don't know what to do. I can be that guy who pulls the trigger for you because there's no moral compass. But as far as like
that applies to now.
Yeah,
just the
apocalypse. But as far as keeping you alive by my gadget, like my survival skills, I won't be able to start a fire for you. We will freeze to death.
Because I have some wax-covered matches.
Okay.
But only 6.
All right. Well, Tell me more. I'm hoping. Yeah, I was going to talk about the post-apocalyptic wastelands and becoming Lord Humongous, but we'll just save that.
It's more interesting than what I'm talking about.
Leave the few, and I will spare your lives.
That's honestly the best impersonation that you do.
I'd have to become Lord Humongous.
Yeah.
You'd be the gyro pilot captain.
No, I'm not lanky and skinny.
Yeah, but you'd still
I could become Lord Humongous if I wanted to.
I think you'd be the gyro captain.
Yeah,
I think you
let your hair grow out, and then I can shave it and all splotchy and have those little hair
plucks
pieces.
of hair. But as long as I get to wear a hockey mask and cover myself in baby oil and wear leather underwear,
you basically just look like Jason Voorhees on steroids.
Yes, okay. I would. Except I could drive. I could drive a vehicle. Anyway,
does he drive his own vehicle, or does his lackey do it? He stands there.
No,
Lord
Humongous drives that vehicle.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he does.
As now I'm seeing in my head the sped up film.
Yeah.
Him driving it.
Yeah, and we could talk about this all night. I was about to talk about the one villain in the film that has the little bitch boy that rides on the back with assless chaps.
That's not me.
He rides on the back.
That is not
with
me.
Assless chaps.
Screw you, man. I'm not doing that.
Hey, come on. I'll protect you.
You said you didn't have any skills. That's a ruse.
All right, fine.
I'll be Mad Max sponging the gas. They're just like a bunch of dirty water. He was with a rag.
Wringing it out.
How did we go from the witch to that?
I don't remember. So tell me more about the witch. It's about Puritans. Takes place in the 1700s, I believe.
1630.
1630.
Okay. So they're out there in the woods, and the oldest girl, her name is Thomason, and the reason why I remember her name is it strikes me as a strange name. I mean,
yeah,
I understand that it's period specific, but Thomason for a girl. Thomason took a little getting used
1630s. I actually think she's the star in that movie Morgan. I think she plays the DNA altered whatever. So anyway, continue.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Not. When's the last time you heard that?
Wayne's World, when I watched it like 6 months ago.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, things start to go wrong. She's playing with her baby sister, literally just a little infant. She's playing peekaboo, I think. Mm-hmm. And she does peekaboo, and then she looks, and all of a sudden the baby is just missing. It's just gone.
Poof, gone.
Poof, and then they show the woods. Ooh. Here's where my surprise came in. Now, going into this movie, I heard a bunch of meh. I heard meh from you.
You'll hear it again.
I heard meh from everybody.
Meh.
I mean, it was like everybody I talked to was like, it wasn't that good. But what I wasn't expecting was a real fucking witch. I wasn't expecting...
Oh, you weren't?
For a naked old hag to be grinding up an infant baby.
Yeah.
And then spreading its guts and
spoilers, by the way.
Huh?
Spoilers. It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Spoiler. Yeah,
Spoilers,
I mean,
whatever.
Okay.
It's called The Witch. Expect a witch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I did spoil it for some people because I didn't know that it was going to be like that.
Really? I was hoping the entire time I would get more of that, and my problem was you don't get enough. And the ending to the movie, it felt like they were like, okay, we have this cool concept. And now, don't get me wrong. Do I like the movie? No, I do not. Do I think it's well made? Yes. Do I think the tone is great? The vibe is good? Is it eerie and creepy? Yes, I love all those things. But it just felt like they didn't know how to end it, and it was just kind of a random tacked on ending to me, and just left me disappointed.
I feel like there's just an infinite number of ways to end that movie, and they just had to pick something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard movie to put a good ending on, because in my opinion it was really good. I wouldn't say the ending let me down.
Okay.
I would say I could probably come up with a few good ideas that might have been a little bit better. I actually thought it was going to end before we got to any of that, but no. But back to The Witch, I was expecting something more along the lines of The Blair Witch.
I'm glad you said that.
Where they don't really show anything, and it's more about their superstitions and beliefs and their strict religious,
just eating them alive.
Code. Just here's why I like the movie is because not only is there a witch or a coven. I sound like more
Covenant.
Mark Borchardt from American movie.
Coven.
Coven. But anyway, what was I going to say?
Well, I'll tell you this real quick as you find your thought over there. You know what I think would have made this movie another $50 million at the box office?
$50 million?
$50 million.
Tell me the secret.
I'm going to tell you the secret.
The secret Johnny juice. That doesn't sound right.
Had don't get scared now. Had they made this an official Blair Witch prequel, had this been where the Blair Witch story originated from this story right here, somehow, some way,
some kind of
tie that in,
yeah.
Boom, you add Blair Witch to that title, $50 more million.
That's not a bad idea.
No.
And I could see somebody actually taking that idea and running with it.
It's almost like, why couldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Why couldn't you? I don't get why they couldn't.
They could now, especially that there's a precedent set with this movie.
Sure.
A lot of people liking it, I guess. This is a love or hate movie is what I'm getting from this, from The Witch. But, hold on, let me jot down something.
A lot of people love it, and it's just, I understand why you can like it. It's just, I like the atmosphere, but it just, I feel like there was more they could have done. I just didn't like to watch the Puritans ramble on and pray for an hour and a half. And the audio, and I think we will both agree on this, the dialogue, the audio, something with that, I don't know if it was intentional, but the audio track for that movie was almost inaudible at times. You could not, you tell me, can you watch that movie without subtitles and hear word for word what they are saying?
There were times where I was sitting there almost wishing for subtitles.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the father. Just, there's a lot of these and thous, thine and, all that. It's very, again, period specific to the way people talked, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I like
it. The father was, not only was he speaking that way, but he was speaking with a really gravelly voice and a mouthful of marbles, it sounded like.
Sure.
So at times he was hard to understand. You really have to pay attention to this movie. One thing I do appreciate, though, the point I was trying to make that I finally, came up with, is because I was expecting a lot of Blair Witch type stuff where you don't really see anything.
A tease.
The fact that they show witches and all of that, and you have Black Phillip the sheep, which just cracks me up, by the way, because apparently the director couldn't get the sheep to do the thing. Like, the sheep was supposed to be a little bit more prominent.
Okay.
But he wasn't.
They couldn't get the sheep to work out, right?
The sheep wasn't I don't know if he had union problems.
You need to cast a better sheep, yeah.
He didn't like working for scale.
He didn't like his trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like that not only was it, because I think the director was making the point that this is how these people really believed then. They really, really did believe there were witches out there. So it was told from that standpoint, a folk tale. So these people really have these religious beliefs, and they really believe that witches exist. And not only do you have this external force, but you have this internal force, this intractability, the way these people think. And they just start accusing each other of being witches. They're like, "Oh, you're a witch. Oh no, those two kids are a witch," or and then there's all kinds of subtleties that I will not go into right now because I could just go on and on. But there's things in there like very specifically that is written into the script where the father is a liar.
Okay.
Remember he lies about why he took their son out into the woods.
Did he? I don't remember that.
And then he lies about he took her family heirloom, like the silver chalice.
Yeah, I do remember that. And he sold it to get supplies.
So he's all pious and, he's Mr.
But he's a liar.
You need to pray for the sins in your soul and all of that. But at the same time, he's throwing out these little lies.
Early on in the movie, I got the vibe, and we'll jump to the next one here in a second, but early on in the movie, I got the vibe that it was going to go for like a Shining route. Like the Shining route, I thought maybe the father was going to go insane, grab an axe, and just take care of the family.
There was a couple times where I felt that was going to happen too, because there was like a shot of him staring, and then the music that they used was reminded me a little bit of The Shining.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got. And I almost wonder if an earlier draft of that script was
father snaps.
The father snaps,
and kills all because everyone is witches now. The entire family.
He has to cleanse it.
He could have gone that. It could have gone that way.
Could have went that way. All right. So, any more thoughts on The Witch?
A lot of thoughts, but I think we better stop it there. Bottom line, I'm giving this movie an A-.
Really? Okay.
I think again, I'm a little iffy on the end. I don't know if I quite like that or not. It worked. Otherwise, I would give it a straight A. And here's my only nitpick.
Yeah. Okay.
What's
the nitpick? What's the nitpick?
It's very geeky. But they shot this in a 1:6:1 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And that bothered me right
Why did it bother you?
It bothered me for a full 10 minutes, but thankfully I got into the story and I was able to let it go. And this is why it bothered me. I had to actually pause the movie and go on IMDb because I knew this fucking thing was not shot on film. I was like, why is it 1:6:1 if it's not shot on Super 16 millimeter?
Sure.
It's obviously digital. Because why would they shoot this movie on digital in the first place? Anyway, I go in there, I look.
It's cheaper.
I see that was shot on an Arri Alexa, and they framed it for a 1:6:1 aspect ratio. Thank God they didn't do a 4:3, but it just really bothered me because and there's something in the trivia section on IMDb where they said that they were going for like a classic look or something. Like, that's such bullshit. If you're going for that look, shoot it on film.
Yeah.
Fucking shoot it on Super 16.
Well,
then you would have had the nice blacks.
Yeah, but
nice detail.
The thing is,
the darkness. Instead, it had.
Can I tell you why?
Kind of had a grayish.
Yeah,
like
but
the gray
it was supposed to look gloomy. Let me tell you why they shot on digital. Okay,
please.
It was cheap.
I know it only had a $3.5 million budget.
And when you can go into After Effects and add some digital grain, 99.9% of the viewing audience besides you will never know, won't even care, and won't even notice.
That makes me deeply sad.
These are the same people that don't know the difference between DVD and Blu-ray. And if you show them the different picture quality of the same movie on different formats, they still do not see the difference. So I ask these people, if I wrap saran wrap around your head, would you notice if you walked around in society things look a little bit more blurry? And I feel like they'd still say no. But let's go into the next movie.
All right. Otherwise, the roiling anger.
Yeah, just talking about aspect ratios over there. I can see it.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I couldn't help it.
Oh, man.
Sorry. It's bred into me. That's what I went to school for.
So you're saying the movie was, it looked like it was shot in widescreen, but they didn't actually shoot in widescreen.
Well, here's what it looks like on your widescreen TV.
Yeah, I don't remember if it had the black bars.
This is what pissed me off. It's like, shoot on digital, fine. I'm not saying screw digital. What I'm saying is if you're going to go for a classic look and you want that aspect ratio of 1:6:1, shoot on Super 16, and then you have it would fit the period better. But if you're going to shoot digital, at least make sure that it fills
better.
The screen.
The movie takes place in 1630. Don't shoot it with digital because it just doesn't match up with the 1630s there.
Well, no, I get that. Then that was.
I get what you're saying. You wanted
this goes back to the movie Lawless.
You wanted some grunge. You wanted a little bit of grunge.
Yes, I did.
Don't make me talk about Lawless. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a movie I watched. We could talk about this for 9 hours.
Well, bottom line, I just want to say it didn't fill the screen.
It didn't fill the screen.
It's got black bars on the side. Did you not notice that?
It did. Yeah. Did
that bother you?
I don't remember it though. I watched it one late night on Blu-ray, and I just kind of was just shoving my face with popcorn and not really looking at the sides of the screen. I don't know. I guess I didn't notice.
Sorry to go on about it, but it bothered me.
It bothered you. Well, all right. I understand. I truly do. All right. So the next movie, I'm talking about the movie I watched this week. And look at you. Look at you. Look at me, man.
This is going to start getting a little dark.
All right. It's going to get a little dark.
Not magical at all.
Actually, it's not going to get dark. I'm just going to make it really quick, and then we're going to dive into the Q&A questions that people asked. I watched a movie in the theater called Don't Breathe. It stars Stephen Lang. It's about a group of unlikable morons that you want to all see get slaughtered instantaneously that break into this man's house and steal his shit. And I have a lot of issues with the movie. A lot of people are loving this movie. It's got great positive ratings on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. And I can tell you this, the third act of this movie destroys the entire movie. It has plot holes amongst plot holes where it looked like someone wrote a script and had a really good idea, and then the third act came around and they're like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Just whatever can happen will happen. And I could talk about the plot holes and spoil the whole movie, and I'm going to do that at some point when I actually do a dedicated movie review for it on my channel. But I wanted to like it more than I did, but it was okay.
Just give me a little brief synopsis.
Well, I gave you the synopsis. Stephen Lang, he plays a blind man. And this group of 3 wannabe criminals, one of them's name is Money. You just want to see him get his throat ripped out instantaneously. He has cornrows. They decide to break into this blind man's house. He lives in the dilapidated section of Detroit, so there's no other houses around except for his. And they think that there's some money in this house. So they break in. It turns into Home Alone, a rated R version of Home Alone, and it gets a little bit violent along the way, to say the least. But that's the synopsis.
Sounds very low budget. Like they used the Detroit setting because I
think it had a decent, but I think they spent like $30 million making this movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Literally sounds like something that could be made for $10,000.
It probably could.
If you didn't have Stephen Lang.
It's definitely well made. I think Stephen Lang's his salary for the movie was like $2 million or something.
Whoa.
Like, how is he demanding $2 million? Yeah.
He's good.
He's good.
I mean, I think he deserves. Maybe, depending on the project.
I don't know. I mean, the biggest movie he's ever been in was Avatar. I mean,
or Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, yeah. Well, anyway,
20 years apart.
20 years apart, close, good references. But either way, I don't want to talk about it too long. But a lot of people love it. I couldn't help but look at the giant plot holes at the end of the movie, and the third act of this movie. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it takes a turn. It gets twisted very quickly. There's a mystery that you don't quite know, and you're hoping the movie takes a twist for something a little bit more bizarre, and it definitely goes that route. And
but still, you didn't like it.
The twist was okay, but then you hear the motivations and the plan, and once you hear all that, you're like, that doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever.
Okay, so when you say like Home Alone, is there a blind guy throwing paint cans down?
And there's micro machines as the security system. No, they break into his house, and they're creeping around trying to do things. Meanwhile, the blind man keeps interacting with them. He might walk. Can I just tell you one of my biggest problem scenes with the movie?
Yes, please.
Let me give you the void of logic for this movie. Okay, this is why I couldn't suspend my disbelief. All right. Okay, this blind man, he's an Army veteran, he's a badass, he's very aware of his senses, he can kick some ass, okay? There's several scenes where these intruders are in a hallway with him, and he walks right by them. He might even look around, and they're about 1 foot away from his face. He looks around and keeps walking, okay? Fine. If you want to leave it at that, I get it. But there's a scene where he's looking for them, and he walks through the kitchen, and he starts sniffing around. On the floor, about 10 feet away, are a pair of shoes. He could smell the shoes from 10 feet away, but you're fucking telling me when he was standing right in front of multiple people in a hallway, he couldn't sense that they were there? He could smell shoes, but not them.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
He had superpower smelling abilities, but he couldn't sense somebody who was right in front of him.
Supposed to be kind of like a blind ninja.
Yeah.
But he couldn't sense the people right in front of him.
Couldn't sense them right in front of him.
But some dirty old shoes in the corner.
Yeah, and every time he shoots a gun, he somehow shoots 80 bullets, but he just, every single one of them just about misses.
Those must have been some rank shoes, man.
Yeah.
Some rotting.
River water shoes, man. But, I'm not ranting about the movie. I just feel like it had very obvious plot holes and script issues that just kind of lacked logic. So I just think it could have been a little bit better than it was.
Well, then I'll skip paying $20 to go see it at the theater, then, I guess.
Well, I had nothing better to do, and I wanted to eat some Sour Patch Kids.
Thanks for the invite, though.
Well, you
It's nice.
Well, man, I went with the lady friend. Mm-hmm. It was an impromptu date night. I am sorry, please forgive me, but I did sell you that Witch Blu-ray that you love so much for about 1/4 retail price. So if you could look at me right now and show me a little gratitude, it'd be much appreciated.
I'm not looking at you.
Fine. Can you at least say thank you?
No.
All right.
Move on.
All right. So the last segment of the podcast is going to be, I think I can say this for both of us. It's our favorite part of the podcast. It's movie Q&A questions where we answer anything and everything that you guys asked on Twitter. And you can Twitter us at Twitter us. Is that tweet us? I'm not.
I think they said Twitter us back in
Twitter
2009.
I like it. Twitter me.
Twitter me.
Twitter me. You can tweet us at John Flickster or at
KRAZY Jason with a K.
KRAZY Jason with a K. All right. So, do you want me to start with the questions, or do you want to start?
I think I have 2 questions written down, and do you want me to get to that? Do you want me to do that one that was from 2013, or?
Oh, you have a question from 2013 that you felt the urge to. Can we save it? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's build it up. You want to build it up?
You want to savor it? The only other thing I have written down is how should I code this so that it's the question that might get really dark?
Oh man, can we do that? Can we just build into that one?
Okay, all right. You have all the questions. You ask them.
Okay, I'll start with the first one. All right, so let's. Now I know me and you could talk about this, and by the way, guys, we do have a dedicated podcast coming talking all about this. It's coming up in the future. It's in the works.
Lots of work is going into it. A lot of research.
And we just talked about technical specifications of The Witch for 28 minutes.
Shut up, man.
But black bars, man, on the sides. But I get it. All right, so the first question is from Zach Sonnenberg on Twitter. How long do you give physical media? So how long is physical media going to be around until we just completely go digital and stream and download everything that we watch?
Well, that's kind of hard to say because, I mean, they've been predicting the downfall of physical media for many years
10
now.
years ago, it was supposed to... The thing is, we still have DVDs.
That's the point I was about to make.
15 years after Blu-rays came out, nearly. 10 years after Blu-rays.
People are still buying DVDs in droves. I mean, and now every store has gone to that annoying thing of putting the DVDs side by side with the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. No. Oh, it's a DVD, oh, it's a Blu-ray. It doesn't matter.
We don't know the difference.
Who cares? You pay more for one, less for the other. Now you have 4K.
Now you have 4K.
So, and that goes into that deep discussion we were going to have for our podcast.
We're going to talk about beta tapes, so get ready for that.
But what I would say is streaming is, I have a movie confessional. It's not really a movie confessional, but people have been asking for it, so...
Yes, son, confess your sins to me.
Sometimes late at night, rather than getting up and putting in the Blu-ray, I just like clicking on the movie on Netflix because it's so much easier to do.
I understand, son. I understand. I've been there myself many, many times.
Many times.
That soft glow of the DVD picture quality sometimes is easier on the eyes late at night than that 1080p.
I tell myself, Father, that I am saving the Blu-ray for a special occasion and that I just want to watch the movie. But that's kind of like saying, let's just have premarital sex.
Even strong men
sin. Wrong.
Even strong men sin. Son?
Yes, Father?
I think the only thing to do is give me 20 Hail Marys and confess your sins.
Father, what's with the Hail Marys? Every time with the Hail Marys.
I need 28 of them.
Okay.
All right.
That was for you guys.
That was for you.
Movie confessional. Or rather, streaming confessional, which is something that I wanted to get off my chest for a long time. Yes, I still love Blu-rays. I still collect them. But I love Netflix. I love Amazon.
So convenient, man. And I agree with you. And here's my thing with it. If I go to my movie collection, I spend 45 minutes
just
standing there, holding multiple movies at a time. And it always goes to watching a movie I've seen 9,000 times every time. And when you go to Netflix,
might find a gem.
They just randomly pop up some things in front of you, and you can give them. And here's the best thing:
you're sitting down.
You push a button. You don't have to stand up. The thought of standing up, holding that disc in my bare hand, and inserting it into the tray, pushing close, pushing play in the remote. What is this? What is this barbaric thing that they're making me do anymore?
Well, it used to be a ritual. It used to be something we enjoyed doing.
I loved it.
Remember when TV shows first came out on DVD?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my God, we get to watch it on DVD, and there's like 4 shows on one DVD.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
and
amazing.
no commercials. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like all the shows
Just
streaming.
automatically play one after another.
Yeah.
And if you watch enough of them, it just skips the intro.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch the intro anymore.
You don't have to do anything. You can just literally sit there as a comatose person, and it goes directly to the next show.
As a comatose person.
Have you gotten to the point to where it comes up on the screen? Are you still watching?
Yeah, every time. It's like, fuck
'Cause
you,
you fall
man.
asleep.
I'm here. I'm watching. You know what pisses me off about that? I'll tell you this right now. I'm ranting right now. Yeah. You got to push yes to continue? I'm trying to relax here.
That's a huge
I
inconvenience.
don't pay to push more buttons. I pay for you to do that for me.
Yeah, it's not
Don't
like
you ever
2005.
fucking ask me if I'm still watching. How dare you insult me? Anyway, physical media.
I love physical media. No, I really do.
I do. Holding it just makes me feel more like a man.
One thing is you're holding it to have ownership of it, because streaming, and I'm not talking about digital downloads. That's a whole nother.
It is.
Well, actually, it's not a whole nother, because they're asking about the demise of physical media, and a lot of people do just download it. But
Sure.
to actually own a physical copy in your hands, like a book, that's the way I think of it. It's like it's not so much a collection. It's like a library of movies.
Yeah.
And the way I think about it is, and the way I've said it, is when the post-apocalyptic scenario comes, whatever it is,
Sure.
hopefully not zombies, but hopefully something that kills my neighbors.
It probably will. We'll run out of gasoline in 20 years. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to save some gasoline to put into my generator to run my Blu-ray player and my plasma screen, so that I can still watch movies
Yeah.
on
Don't.
Blu-ray.
No cooking food. No heated water. No
Pork
fires.
and beans right out of the can.
Watching a plasma screen TV and a Blu-ray player.
And that's honestly the future I'm looking forward to.
That's currently the reality that you live in.
That's my fantasy. No, it's not, because I can stream. See, that's the problem.
Oh, sorry.
So-
Yeah, you're right.
But you won't be able to stream.
Well, here's my problem with streaming and downloading. First of all, downloading. My God, who wants to do that? I've never done it. I've never used a digital download copy code. I do not want to sign into a site. First of all, it's going to make you type in all your information or email address. Come on, man. I'm not working for this. And then you got to download it. That's going to take some time. And then play. Like, come on. That's too much effort.
What about a straight digital download, wherein that's how you own the movie?
Sure.
But then what happens to it? I feel like it's just going to go
Keep it on a
missing in
hard
the
drive
ether.
somewhere, and then you drop the hard drive. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing about let's just talk about streaming. My thing about streaming is the picture quality looks good. It's sufficient. I've never really had a problem, but it's not always as good as a 1080p physical Blu-ray
No, it's
playing,
not.
and it never is. And the other thing is the audio. The audio on a physical media device will always be more superior than the one streaming. Obviously, there's more channels. It's clearer. It's going to be that much better. Just slightly more crisp, if anything. So.
I agree. I mean, obviously, superior formats. Streaming is just a convenience. And yet, like we said right at the beginning, people are still buying DVDs.
They are.
In droves. I mean, they're still paying money for it.
They
I
are.
know it goes down a little bit, but
It's crazy to me. Yeah.
my bottom line, I think physical media is going to be around for quite a while, because all of these little small distributors
Sure.
have popped up, have been around for a while, like Criterion Collection is an obvious one, but then like you've got like Scream Factory, and you've got all these other little distributors that take these movies that wouldn't necessarily get a release, and they give it a release.
Sure.
Most of the time it's a junk ass movie, but
Yeah, it's a straight to Redbox, $8 shot on a green screen in 3-minute movie, but
and it seems like there's more and more of these little companies sprouting up,
Sure.
and a lot more of these little releases. So I kind of feel like it's going to be around for a while. It's going to get more nichey, but people have to have access to
Physical
inexpensive,
media,
high-speed internet, and not everybody has access to that.
No. And not even us. I know how to use technology, but I much prefer. I would never go download a movie off Amazon Prime unless I had to do it. If there's a movie that I know I want to watch, I'm either going to go out and rent that movie, physical media, or I'm going to go buy that movie.
Right.
I'd rather do either one of those things. It's just the process of holding it, like you said a little bit ago. You hold it, you look at the artwork, it's just more fun. You pop it in there. It is fun, I agree. And the other thing I wanted to mention was physical media, random thing I wanted to mention. People want to buy 1080p TVs. These people will buy 55-inch 1080p TVs
with the component cables.
And then go buy a DVD to watch on that TV.
Or even worse, they'll buy a Blu-ray with the component cables.
Yeah, it's just like they don't care.
Nothing matters.
They don't care. So yeah, as far as DVDs, if DVDs are still around, 12 years or 10 years after Blu-ray came out, I'm sure we got another solid 10 years of physical media.
Well, even just take it up a notch from what you said. Now, a lot of people have 4K sets in their houses, and they're still watching DVDs.
DVD.
Who would have predicted? Could you have predicted like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
When we were talking about Blu-ray and our plasma sets and all that. Who would have? First of all, okay, there's going to be another physical format. I didn't think there was going to be another physical format. Turned out there is.
Known as
and
4K.
Known as 4K, and then there would be a 4K set. So you have even more resolution, and yet DVDs are still going to be around. I never would have predicted that.
No, but we could talk about this all night. I think we gotta cut it off somewhere. But I want to dive into more. But I think we got 10 years. I think we got 10 years, and then it's just it's one of those things. I think it's going to either fade out or it's just going to go to 12K or whatever.
Yeah, 8K I think.
But then
I feel.
Yeah.
I do feel like, even though I say it's going to be around for a long time, get it now while you can. There's a lot of great deals right now, and I've noticed movies, the pricing is starting to go back up a little bit. I think
it's weird,
especially when you're talking about these smaller distributors. You have to pay more. You have to pay $20 or $25 for a cheap slasher movie from the '80s.
Yeah,
and Criterions are obviously expensive, so I kind of feel like that it will be around for a long time, but it's going to get more expensive.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? So the prices of physical media you think would go low, being out for 15. DVD's been around since the late 90s, and they still cost the exact same price as they did 15 years ago. They've always cost $17, $20. Last 12 years, same price.
Yeah, and of course, 4K makes sense with the pricing because you always have to have a format.
Well, they're sandbagging that technology. Yeah,
3D was $5 more. Now, with 4K, you got to pay $10 more.
Well, all right. So, what's the next question you have over there?
Man, dark now.
Can we do this? Can we? Trust me, guys. I assure you, this next topic, me and Crazy Jason over here have spent hours, amongst countless hours, debating. But let's wrap it up to like 2 to 3 minutes.
I don't know how it's possible. I mean, we literally, probably, if you counted up all of the conversation, it's got to be at least 25 hours.
Oh, I was going to say like 125 hours.
Something in that range.
All right. So what is the question?
Well, Sean Belden on Twitter, I think, asks, what is our favorite documentary?
Oh, okay.
I love documentaries.
Yeah.
The first one that popped into my mind, and the first one that popped into your mind, because when we're doing our prep,
yes,
as we both said, Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost, the West Memphis Three guys accused and convicted of murders of 3 young boys in the early 1990s that live in Arkansas, and they were recently released. A lot of speculation over the years. They didn't do it. They did do it. A lot of controversy. A lot of weird evidence going back and forth. But what do you really like about Paradise Lost?
I'm going to try to just stick to that because
we're
the freaks that have gone to Callahan's online and literally read all of the court documents and the psychiatry reports on Damien Eccles.
It went so far that me and you have both watched interview videos of all 3 of these guys over the years, and studied their eye movements. We've analyzed
them. Yes,
back and hours. I can't tell you.
And we go back and forth on.
Did they do it? Did they do it?
And if they did, who was the ringleader?
Damien Eccles. But Jason Baldwin,
ice in his veins.
He does have ice in his veins, but
I don't know.
There's a lot of speculation, but let's just keep it to the documentary.
I think it is because of that. But the documentary took the route of this is a witch hunt.
Sure.
Witchcraft was a big thing. Witchcraft is a big thing now. But
Yeah.
back in the early 90s.
They even made a movie in '95 called Witchcraft. Unrelated.
That's completely unrelated. But sometimes I like to watch it. It soothes me.
It does me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good nighttime movie.
Yeah.
So, the documentary paints it as, that was all circumstantial. They targeted these kids because they wore black T-shirts and they listened to Metallica.
Yeah. I listen to Metallica.
So do I.
Yeah.
I actually was listening to Megadeth on the way over here, speeding down
Really?
I-85.
I'll tell you. You know what? Thinking about Metallica. Actually, the documentary came out, I believe, in 1996. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I was a young kid, and I remember randomly watching it on HBO one late night, and that's how, since 1996, I've been invested in this case. And a young kid, I imagine myself riding my bike and three guys, murder me, and I guess that always frightened me somewhat.
That was your perspective.
That was my
My
perspective.
perspective, being a little bit older, was
You were Damien Eccles.
I was Damien Eccles, and I was gunning for you.
You were gonna that's not even
gonna get dark.
It's gonna get dark.
I don't.
I'm not gonna
case.
I refuse to ride my bike by any creek in Arkansas.
I don't want to think about it.
I don't want to do it. But
what happened in the woods stays in the woods.
Okay, Jason Baldwin. Okay, Jesse Miss Kelly. That's the name
He
of
ran
the.
away, and then.
Yeah, but is back to Metallica on a lighter note. I remember listening to the soundtrack to the documentary and hearing Sanitarium.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that? What is that awesome song? And ever since then, huge Metallica fan.
So
I think that documentary is what kind of escalated that, kind of sold me on Metallica.
Wow.
Isn't
That's
that-
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It probably did for a lot of people. I don't think Metallica had really lent their music to productions before.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then, of course, the directors went on to make the Metallica documentary.
Oh, okay.
I forget what it's called. Monster something?
I don't remember.
Something
Yeah.
about monsters? I don't know.
I didn't watch it.
But it was all right. We could go on and on about
Could.
this. This is an entire podcast. This is a very lengthy podcast to talk about this documentary. I just say this is my favorite documentary. I love a lot of different documentaries. Brothers Keeper. I love the making of a murderer on Netflix. I'm sure you guys have seen. If you haven't, it's a whole series. I usually tend towards these true crime documentaries.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoy the true crime.
I do too.
I'll leave it at that.
All right. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I'll make my pick a little bit quick here. It's called Beyond the Mat. It's a
Wait a second.
What?
I just got done. I thought Paradise Lost was your favorite.
No, it's not my favorite. It's your favorite, but I like
You
it.
said it was.
I'm gonna disagree. Anyway, I was gonna mention Beyond the Mat. It's a documentary that was made in 1999. It's about wrestling. It's just kind of a dark, gritty reality take on wrestling and what these guys go through. I just liked it. It was very intriguing to me, and I think you guys should give it a watch. It's if you guys like sports entertainment, WWE, it's good stuff.
I would actually. I've never seen it,
Okay.
but I do enjoy wrestling documentaries.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. I enjoy like the movie The Wrestler.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I love the whole
Behind the scenes, yeah,
of these guys.
It's theatricality behind it all. Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that's on YouTube.
It is actually. I think it is. I think
Really?
you can watch the full documentary Beyond the Mat on YouTube. So give it a watch.
Yeah, I certainly am.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. I think it's right up your alley, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So the next Q&A question I have over here, and I think you know what, I got a few on here, but I think we could wrap it up here shortly.
Yeah. We're getting there.
You want to wrap it up with this final question? I think it's a question for both of us.
Okay.
Because we both enjoy the first 23 minutes of the movie.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Alrighty. So, the question comes from, did I write his name down? No, I did not. But either way, thank you for the question.
Our apologies.
Our apologies. Please forgive our sins. What are your hopes for Prometheus 2?
AKA Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
think. It's all kind of been merged.
Has it been completely merged? I thought they were gonna. Is it Alien Covenant, or are they actually doing Prometheus too?
The last I checked, and you can quickly look it up if you want to, but the last I checked, I think Ridley Scott sort of merged the concept. It's not going to be called Prometheus 2. It's going to be called Alien Covenant.
Okay.
I think. Don't take me to task on this, but this is the last time I checked. That's the information I had. It is going to have David in it.
Okay, it's going to have the cyborg David. Is it going to also have the character of Elizabeth returning?
That's the thing that keeps changing. Like I heard she wasn't going to be in it, then I heard she was, then I heard she wasn't, and then I heard she was going to have like a cameo. So I'm not really sure at this point for her.
I don't like that. I'm a little bit upset by that, and I'll tell you why. First, we could talk about the first Prometheus for 6 hours, and we have.
Talk about another podcast.
But my hopes with Prometheus, at least the sequel, I was hoping it would be better than the first one, because I like the concept of going into space, discovering new life, and for some odd reason they want to keep bogging it down with xenomorphs busting through people's fucking chests. It's like, I get it. You have aliens, an alien for that. Take me into space. Give me more backstory on the engineers, the space jockeys. Tell me about the evolution of life. Give me more of that. And this movie, Prometheus, the first one, it ends with Elizabeth Shaw, I believe her name was, and the robot David, or at least just his head. They go off into space in the engineer spaceship. And I want to see where they go.
And that gives a promise. This is what the sequel's going to be. Now you're going to get the answers, because we couldn't answer it in this one. But, there's a lot of debate around that movie, and it kind of does feel like a lot of the alien stuff was shoehorned in.
It does. Just to please the hardcore fan base, which I understand.
It's like they couldn't quite get away from it.
Couldn't take the risk.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like this movie, it's going to be a new ship, new crew members, and they're heading off, and they're gonna land, or they're gonna encounter the engineer's homeworld. I think.
So do you think so? So are you saying maybe Earth sends out another ship of people to maybe look for the people that were
either that, or it'd be like Alien, where it's just some vessel that gets a signal to have to go.
I do not want another Prometheus movie taking place solely on a spaceship. I do not want that.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be that way. I think they know that people were left with a lot of questions. Especially, we've talked about this before, but the interaction between the engineer and David and everybody at the end of Prometheus was really shitty.
It just became
ask him a question, he just snaps his head off.
It became a monster movie for no reason. Could have this really cool intellectual debate, this confrontation that just blows your mind. But no,
you want to know why they're going to kill what they created.
Yeah,
you want the answer to that. I think maybe they're going to hopefully give us that answer.
Yeah, well,
I kind of want that. I want some engineer action where they actually have a discussion.
I want to see their home planet. I want to see their civilization.
Yeah.
Can we just get that? Can we maybe?
They can't all be engineers. Some of them have to be janitors.
Sure, space jockey janitors. Yeah, they got to do something. But maybe somehow take it to their home planet and put it in some kind of compound or some kind of complex or something. I don't care what they do, but just I want to see the home planet of the engineers. Give me that.
Yeah, you're going to think I'm a Judas, but I wouldn't mind seeing them create the alien.
Yeah, you want to see them create the alien?
Kind of. I don't know.
I feel like they kind of already.
I still feel like I need to see the alien. I'm sorry.
Well, you've seen the xenomorph at the end of Prometheus.
Yeah,
but
I
think they were kind of saying this is how it was created.
Yeah, I get that, but I kind of want to see the traditional.
Yeah,
alien queen.
I don't mind if they want to throw aliens in there. That's fine. Just take me to their home planet. I want to see the way they work. I want to see
make a hybrid movie, but give us a conversation. Yeah. With the creators, with the engineers.
I think there's a lot. I mean, I had a few speculations, maybe a few ideas, but they'd just be spewing out of my mouth. Just no
we should send
reason.
Say them. We'll send this
save
podcast
them. We'll
to
save
Ridley
them.
Scott.
Anyway, so Prometheus 2, I just hope it's better than the first one. I really enjoyed the majority of the first one, or at least the first 35 minutes, like we both do.
Oh, it's nice and relaxing.
Oh, the build-up,
Yeah.
it's so epic. They're going into space on this journey, and then they land, and two guys get lost in a cave.
Right. They're playing little, tiddlywinks with the...
They're scientists. They were dedicated for this mission, but yet they just...
Oogie boogie.
Yeah, just whatever that thing popping out is,
Yeah.
let's not pretend like it's an alien life form.
Would you not be running? I mean...
Yeah. Would you not use the technology that you have that's 200 years into the future to maybe... You have a mapping device that's flying through the cave.
The most sophisticated mapping device ever.
It's literally mapping it. The people on the spacecraft can see this map that this device that's flying around defying gravity is creating, but yet they're still lost in this cave. They just simply can't remember the way they walked in. Just no way. No way.
Started getting a little silly there. Yeah.
Just the movie, that's where the movie starts to bog down into low IQ land for me. But anyway, you got anything else to add to this?
Well, I could talk about Prometheus. I could talk about Paradise Lost. There's a lot of things I could talk about, but all things must come to an end.
All right, just like this podcast.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, as usual, thanks for watching, and there's a few things we wanted to mention before we go. The first thing I'm going to mention is Geek Fuel. It's a monthly subscription box you guys can get. It's a little box that they send you. It's filled with awesome TV and movie goodies, and I love it. I get it every month. I do unboxings here on my John Flickster channel with it. I love it. So if you guys want to check out Geek Fuel, you can go through my special link. It's geekfuel.com/theflickpick or geekfuel.com/flickpick. I'll put the link down below if you guys are watching on YouTube. And if you go through my special link, you guys get an extra special collector's item in your box. So if you guys want to check that out, please do.
Okay, and I have Redbubble t-shirts, link down below. There are actually a couple of Willy Wonka t-shirts in there, so...
You get nothing.
Yeah, there's literally a You Get Nothing t-shirt in there that's pretty cool. Yeah. So if you want to honor the memory of... I almost said Gene, the other Gene.
The other Gene?
I almost said Gene Simmons.
No.
But it's not.
Gene Simmons.
I don't know why. I keep wanting to say that.
No, please never do.
Maybe I'm wishing for
something. So anyway, Gene Wilder.
Yeah. Gene Wilder, yes. May he rest in peace and in all seriousness. But yeah, we have a couple of those Willy Wonka t-shirts down there, plus Wolf of Wall Street fun coupons and Glengarry Glen Ross and Peep Show for any of you guys who know what that is. A lot of cool designs. Just follow the link. Check it out.
All right, links down below to Redbubble. So anyway, guys, my name is John. You can find me at John Flickster on Twitter or on YouTube at John Flickster, or also the Flick Pick, which is my main channel all about movies. And where can they find you at, Jason?
They can find me at The KRAZY Jason on YouTube and at KRAZY Jason with a K on Twitter.
Alrighty, and real quick before we go, one last thing is I wanted to give a cool shout out to an awesome guy who has a website. He does graphics, designs. He actually made the intro to the Flick KRAZY podcast where you see the microphone, the popcorn, the explosions, all the cool crazy shit. Very and cool. His website is kvkstudios.net, and he does graphic design work, and he makes intros. So if you guys are in the market for that, definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this podcast. As usual, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Live long and prosper.
Don't get scared. All right.